we have been talking about ghost homes, a lot of homes that are vacant at the moment. That's not an ideal situation, surely?
Well, that's a different dynamic. That's often driven by investors and a lot of foreign investors. We've got developers that are actually selling those types of properties to overseas investors who actually want to get their money out of the country. They dump it into Australia, they hold on to an apartment, they don't have a culture of leasing. We as a nation aren't requiring for our investors to have to put their properties back into the rental pool, and I think that's a mistake. And as a result, you're ending up with properties that are sitting there vacant, and these ghost towers and these ghost suburbs and these ghost pockets are developing as a result.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's interesting you talk about maybe forcing them to lease, because, you know, everything you read about housing affordability talks about having a carrot and stick approach. Carrots and sticks is actually probably how I'm going to build my first home. But, yeah, so in terms of something like that, I mean, are there other things? I mean, I think I was reading that somewhere like Vancouver actually fines people if their home is unoccupied for a certain period of time. Is
London does it as well. They actually charge you higher rates, or they charge you a higher levy if you've got a vacant property. Now, there will be, again, cultures and nations and nationalities whereby they don't care because their culture is not to lease it, so they'll just pay the fine and they can afford to. But we've got a bit of an issue in that you've got developers always arguing that there's not enough housing supply, so we've got to build more apartments. But when they're being sold to foreigners who land bank and aren't compelled to put it back into the rental market, then that's just another reason for developers to argue that we need to build more apartments, which isn't necessarily the type of accommodation that people actually want to live in.
Now, Miriam, I've never owned property, but I have played Monopoly, and it's a lot easier when you own every single piece on the board.
Is.
Should we be putting restrictions on how many properties people can own, though? Like, you get to, what, 50, and you say, OK, that's enough.
Full house.
You've got enough properties there.
Even if there isn't an actual restriction, I think if you got to 50, you probably should think about where you're at with your life.
Yeah.
Well, you know, to be honest, I don't know why you want 50 properties, because it's a lot of accounting fees, it's a lot of maintenance, it's a lot of repairs, it's a lot position managers to manage.
Well.
A lot of ghosts, a lot of bad neighbours and potentially bad tenants. So my position isn't that you want 50 average properties. If you're going to invest, you want 3, 4, 5 really high-performing investment-grade properties, because that's just going to help you achieve your objective. It's usually the selling agents and the developers and the spruikers that are all out there telling you need this many because they have to sell it.